Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Yakuza Fiancé Season 1, Episode 8. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. We're immediately picking up where the last episode left off, and we see Yoshino catching some of the conversation. So the guys Ozu are with are some of the guys that Kirishima and Yoshino beat up in episode 2. I don't remember if they ever clarified who reached out to who. Did those guys reach out to Ozu, or did Ozu reach out to them? Regardless of it, it's like that's their motivation. That's their like cup of tea in all of this. They just want get back. But Ozu's obviously working for Home Dude, who we see in the intro. His face is covered in it, but he's the dude with like the scar on his lip, a cut that like goes like horizontally, or not horizontally, vertically on his lip. So who he is and what this is all about, because it's interesting. Because once Yoshino referenced the redheaded guy with the perm or whatever, he was like, "Wait, what did you just say?" So Kirishima knows exactly who they are, what this is all about, whether this is some like Yakuza infighting type of thing, or whether there's something more, whether it's just a lot more personal of going after Kirishima specifically. It's unclear, but I thought it was interesting because it kind of connects 2 points. But like at one point, Yoshino keeps bringing up stuff like she knows stuff that Kirishima's like, "Wait, how do you know that?" She's like, "Don't even worry about that now." But later on, she's like, "You idiot! You're not in Osaka. This is Tokyo." Or no, you're not in Tokyo. This is Osaka. I keep flipping the locations on where they are and where each one of them is actually from. I'm trying to remember. Either way, she's like, "This isn't your home territory. This is mine." I brought it up last episode. He got caught slipping because he keeps underestimating her. Plus, she's on home turf, so she easy to get information. Because we end up finding out, I thought the Kobe thing she was looking into, I thought that was directly connected to Kirishima. It kind of is, but not really. It was more so about Ozu. She found out where he was staying. That's the information he was like, "Wait, how did you know that?" I wonder, is that something even Kirishima didn't know? To be fair, it's like there's a larger network. Her family's connected to the network here, so it's easier for her to get grasp of that information. Because Shoma probably is also to help with that too. But I mean, her family situation probably carries a lot of weight that even if Shoma wasn't there, she'd be able to get that information. But probably having Shoma with her adds legitimacy to it or whatever. I doubt it. Once again, she's the legitimacy, but still. So I guess like he couldn't gather information because it's like, right, you're so used to like gathering intel, you were able to do pretty good on your own. But once again, this isn't your home turf, so you're always going to be at a disadvantage. Your network isn't as strong here with Yoshino. Like her family has roots here. This is like where her family. This is their territory. So I thought it was really interesting when she got close to Ozu, because he apparently doesn't know what Yoshino looks like, doesn't even know who, well, he knows Yoshino's name, but he doesn't know what she looks like. I thought it was interesting because Kirishima was like, "Oh yeah, because I've made an effort." Yes, those guys who ran into us know what Yoshino looks like, but Ozu doesn't, because it's like I made an effort to make it so that your like what you look like does not spread around. And it's like, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because he knew like trouble would always find its way, especially stuff connected to him. So he never wanted her to get drawn into any conflict or issue, because that's why he has tried to like limit her involvement and stuff. I even thought it was interesting when he's talking to Now later on, and he's like, because Nao's trying to say like I have no involvement in this, and he's like, because she's trying to say like it's not my fault, this is playing out the way it is, and he's like, "No, it's not your fault." And he's like, "The fact of the matter is it's mine," because he's like, the moment Yoshino got your number, I should have blocked your number. So he's like, that was my fault. Like I missed a step there, and I'm the reason this is all happening. So he's trying to get Now out of middle of all of this and trying to drop her off somewhere. At the same time, he's contacting Shoma, being like, "Yo, I told Yoshino to be in this particular place waiting." And obviously Shoma's pissed off because he's like, you'd be better off just going somewhere and dying. And he's like, "Oh, same thing to you, buddy. I guess we'll have to wait till next time to kind of settle that." But it's like, yeah, Yoshino's kind of mixed in some trouble. It's like, really, it was more his trouble, but Yoshino was kind of mixed up in it. So it's kind of like, I mean, obviously, I mean, for Shoma, it doesn't matter because he's still going to be like, "You're responsible for dragging her into this," even though she kind of made an effort to kind of dive into it herself. Because I guess it is a thing of it is happening on her home territory. Plus, it's the whole situation of obviously this is something that's coming after not only you but me. I was already kind of a part of it before I got mixed into it. Kirishima just wanted to do everything he could to keep her away from him. I was like, no, this involves me. It's my home territory. I got to find out what this is all about. So like I said, she tried to get close to Ozu, and she pretended to be someone, was like her name was like Mai or something like that, and he's like, oh, this has to be like, he said like, I looked it up a while ago, there is like an account I saw online. So I was like, interesting. I wondered, does she have a backup social media that she like has just in case something like this happens, or like how far in advance is that backed up? Because he said a while ago, but maybe he was like earlier this night. I looked into it just to see if there was legitimacy behind her being who she was, because she's claiming like, oh, we went to the same university. You don't remember? He's like, nah, I don't. So I even love the whole thing of her like getting drinks and stuff. I don't know if she actually legitimately thought she was getting drunk, or like, oh, she was getting all hyped up, and I was like, the drinks are non-alcoholic. So I actually am confused. I don't know if like that was her being smart, making him think she's getting drunk and she's knocking about the alcohol like it's nothing, or is it a thing of like, because you can, you know, the ambiance and atmosphere can get you a little drunk too. So, or was it like her being like, oh, I actually think I am getting drunk, but these are non-alcoholic drinks? Because I'm about to say, it's like, because she's pretending to be a college student. She's a high schooler. I don't know. I'd assume the drinking age in Japan is 18, I think. I know in Europe it is, but I don't know what the drinking age in Japan is. Because of one video game, I'd almost want to say it would be like 20, but it might, I don't know. I don't know what, it might actually be 20. I don't know. There's a video game that had a character, like, hey, I just turned 20. I'm able to legally drink now. So I don't know. So but once again, she's a high schooler, so it's not like, but she's pretending to be a college student or out of college or whatever. You know what I'm saying? To be older than what she is. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure whether that was her playing that up or whether she legitimately thought she was knocking back somehow. She was kind of acting reluctant to do it anyway, because she was like, not really trying to drink, but that's why I'm kind of trying to give her more credence. And I'm like, I think it was a ploy. I think she tricked him, because made him uneasy, because she like, kept pouring wine in his glass, and he's like, oh yeah, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. So, and he ended up meeting up with curly haired dude, as well as the dude with the mask who, with the tats and stuff like that. And, he said something that pissed the guy off, because the guy just kind of like glares at him, and he's like, oh, what a creep or whatever. So either way, we had Shoma showing up to Now, and Now like hands him the phone, because it's like, yeah, Kirishima told me to hand this to you. Like, the way she made it sound like, oh, this will tell you where Kirishima is, kind of, I guess, assuming that Kirishima and Yoshino would be together, because it was supposed to be more specifically that it would show Shoma where Yoshino's location was, but he grabbed her, and then like as he was leaving, some of those thugs showed up, and they were running their mouth about Yoshino, and that's what pissed him off, about like, oh, we're gonna find Yoshino and fuck her up, and that's what pissed him off. I do think it's such an interesting thing that I attributed it, because it happens like once or twice, but I never really paid attention to the fact is, or really like the detail of like when Yoshino kind of goes full Yakuza mode, like her eyes go from red to yellow, like that goldish yellow, and the same thing for, because Kirishima kind of has, I think like every character kind of has that to some extent, because even Shoma does it this episode when he was like, yo, what did you say? Whoops everyone's ass. And as he was about to take off with, Now they run into the perm-haired guy, and he's like, oh, are you Kirishima? And he was just like, yo, shut the fuck up and leave me alone, Curly. And the guy attacks him. He's like, yo, this ain't just some curls, this is a good perm, like how dare you just talk about it like that? So they're about to piece it up. At the same time, Now got called away by the thugs he had hired, because they were waiting in that location, because Kirishima and Yoshino were supposed to show up at that warehouse, but they didn't. So that guy is pulling all his people, as well as someone else, because they saw him getting in a taxi and stuff. So they're like, right, we have to go try and track him and follow him. But that guy's kind of freestyling it on his own, screwing up the plan, which, funny enough, Yoshino and Kirishima are talking, and for her, she's pissed because she's like, you're screwing up the plan I had. Like, you were supposed to follow my orders. He's like, yeah, you gave me that idea about, like, sneaking out, like, that particular, like, way. And she was like, no, that's not the point. Like, why do you have to be so difficult? It's like, this is my plan. And she's kind of like, if you're not going to see this through and, like, kill them and slice them up and then, like, dissolve them like you're supposed to, you might as well fucking bounce and go back home then. You know, because she's like, if you're not going to see this through like you need to, like, this is, I'll kind of handle it my own way then. Like, once again, kind of really getting in her Yakuza bag. But then Kirishima, like, has a very sentimental moment with her where he's just like, actually, my birthday's on November 13th. I've actually never told anyone the truth about my birthday, but I'm a Scorpio. And he talks about, like, right, I don't really have any hobbies and stuff, but if there's something that you like, I'd like to kind of do it with you. And he's ultimately like, obviously, it's like he legitimately likes spending time with her. And he's just like, right, like, when this is all said and done, I'm going to ask you to marry me. He's like, the fact of the matter is there's no one out there for you. And there's no one out there for me except for you. Like, we're each other's it person. We're both in game. So he's like, no one else will compare. So it's like, right, like, if I'm able to resolve this situation, he's like, if I'm able to do all this, resolve this before I turn 18, then you'll have to kind of accept my marriage proposal. But he's also like, right, I get it. You don't want to kind of jump into marriage. At the very least, can I be your boyfriend up until we graduate? So, and she's like, oh, like, you know, placing a bet. And he's like, yeah, I'm willing to bet my life on it. He's like, whatever the game is that you want, that's perfectly fine with me. We can pick a game that you're best at or willing to go down that route for, because it's just like a bet of like, yeah, let's see if we can resolve this, deal with all this. And Ozu, either I die when it's all said and done, or if I'm a second over midnight when this is all said and done, then I lose the game. But if not, you're my girlfriend until graduation. So, you know, and Yoshino still, all of it caught her off guard, but she's also super accepting of it. Of like, all right, let's see what you can do. Like, see if, because she's like, right, I can lead you to a location where you can kind of deal with all of them. Because she's like, right, there, even if you deal with Ozu, there's going to be a whole bunch of people after you. Like, you know, this, you're going to be walking to a death trap because you're going to be surrounded. Like, you're tough, sure, but this is too many people for one person to handle on your own. But it's like, right, you're manipulating me, you're manipulating Shoma now. But yeah, he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. At the very end of the episode, he's like, I've picked the perfect location. So I'm interested to see where this all goes. This also isn't a continuation like I thought it was, like, titling wise. I was like, is this going to be a part 3? It's like, no, like, it was, the title's something about marriage. It's like part 1 of that. So I'm like, okay, so I guess like maybe the next couple episodes might be a, like, part 1, part 2, part 1, part 2, like over and over again. Maybe not. We'll see how it all shakes out. But interesting bet, interesting circumstances. I'm curious to see how this all plays out, you know. Obviously, like I said, Kirishima has this, like, energy about him, like he's like tried to be all jokey with Yoshino, but there is like moments during the phone call he got super quiet because he got like very like, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be honest with you because it's like I do care about you, probably more so than you realize. Because like Yoshino thinks it's like, right, you're just kind of manipulating me. Like I don't really know what your true motives are. It's like I think he legitimately has fallen for you, but I think he also, as Yoshino kind of brought up in a previous episode, I think the feelings between loving someone as like an intimate partner versus friends, because he's never really had any friends, I don't think they're so equatable in his head in both those things, even though they're two very different relationships. A relationship with an intimate partner versus just a friend, there's layers into that difference, but still. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this next episode takes us, finding out what's behind all this. Like I said, like the redhead dude versus Shoma still going down. So he's pretty powerful because you could tell like Shoma's arm was throbbing from blocking that like kick or a punch or whatever. No, it wasn't a kick. It was definitely a punch. So, but also like Shoma's not in a good mood right now because of all of Kirishima's antics, and just everything with Yoshino might be enough to like kick him into overdrive to be like, yo, kicking Curly's ass, but we'll see. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.